Hi again. Here we are to talk about the Nob Hill Gazette WordPress theme, and we set up our menu here. What I want to do is I want to rearrange the menu so it looks like this. Currently, it looks like this, right? And so what I have is I have the description here, or this note. It's an attitude, not an address. And then I have my menu here, and the menu is 100% width, and then this area up here is 100%. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to use the grid to move this text so it appears on this side, and then drag the menu like kind of over here so they sit side by side, right? So looking at my page here, you can see I've got one block here that's 100%, and that's this whole area here. And then below I have another div which contains the menu, and that's 100%, and it goes all the way across too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the blog description. So this blog description is the text here, and it gets its text. We're using a PHP tag, right? And the WordPress template function, blog info description, right? To grab the blog description that you set under settings general. So when I look at settings general here, you can see there's a site title, Nob Hill Gazette, and then the tagline is it's an attitude, not an address, right? So that appears here, right? And we're pulling that up into the page with this template tag. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to move that. And what I want to do is I want to put it next to this thing. Let me actually rearrange that here, right? Right, so what I want to do is I want to put it next to this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this thing grid 70. So now it takes up 70% of the width of our container, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another div here and give it the class name grid 30, right? So now together the 30% grid and the 70% grid take up 100%. So this grid 100 takes up the full width of the column, and then these two together also take up the full width of the column, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this now into the grid 30. And then I'm going to spend a few seconds there to neaten up my code so it looks good. And there we go, right? So now when I go to the site here and view it, you can see this thing is right next to the other one. Now, they're kind of a little bit out of alignment. I kind of want to bring this down so it lines up here, but that has to do with the margin and padding on the elements. So, we can fix that up when we get into more with our style sheet, okay? But you can see here, if I look at the inspector, if we examine the header here, you can see it's 100% width of the column. And then here is the grid 30, and it takes up 30%. And then this is the grid 70, okay? And there we go.